Alright folks, welcome to Tankavaara. We are well above the Arctic Circle in Finnish Lapland, and today it's all about gold. I'm visiting Tankavaara Gold Village. First of all, I'm going to visit here a restaurant bar area, which is open every day, and they're serving excellent salmon soup, which I had when I visited the place, and you can buy some souvenirs from there as well. So it's all up to you how you want to do the tour of the area. So there are different locations like the village or the gold town, and then there is the outdoors museum, which is also for free. You're paying something like 12 euros for the entry fee to go into the actual museum, which is one of those old school museums, and I really enjoyed the time there. It is not sort of, sometimes you find these digitalized, interactive, very high-tech museums around the world nowadays, but this is something else. It kind of has this atmosphere of this old sort of historical cold village. It has a lot of objects which you can actually touch and see from the era. Loads of information written. I mean, you have to be able to read, but the good thing is it's in different languages, mainly in Finnish, English, German, and French. And I heard groups being taken around by the local guides with capability of addressing their guided tours in French, English, and German. So you find your most common languages there. So it's really, really interesting, and I really enjoyed my time both indoors and outdoors. So here we go. I'm not gonna be explaining all the time what happens. You will see it from the video yourself. And let's start our tour. What makes this museum and exhibition really interesting for the international visitor is the fact that the section where they tell the history of coal and coal mining globally is huge. Basically it covers every sort of country and continent where gold has been mined over the centuries. And I think they actually say that this is the best cold museum in the world, if you really consider how extensive the sort of information is. So it's not only about gold panning in Lapland or the Finnish gold production. You have countries all over the world, from South Africa to Asia, and many European countries quite detailed information, especially. Surprised to find so interesting, detailed information about iris cold prospecting from the old days to the modern times. So, for example, I didn't know that the Wicklow Mountains south of Dublin were such an important place for coal prospecting already from the, I think, from the late 1700s. I knew that Ireland has a very interesting gold items in the historical museum, which are from the Bronze Age, and I knew that there is gold. But anyways, so you find the international section really rewarding. There's a lot, obviously, from the Klondike and American Gold Rush, Canada, and these huge sort of historical events that we all know about. But yes, this is really something cool. This is the area where you can actually see the original huts and little houses where the prospectors, gold diggers lived. And you very quickly kind of learn that the conditions were not ideal. Some of the housing is a little bit better than the others, but basically they used it just for sleeping and to cover themselves from the rain and from the fierce mosquitoes that really are a big deal in this part of the world, especially during the summer months. And you also see a lot of equipment that they've used for their panning activities. So it's not only using these pans to get the gold. They have these specific kind of a little bit more industrialized kind of equipment already from the 1800s, and they started using more machines in the 1900s. From the mid 1900s, it became way more sort of industrialized, even in a small scale digging. And you'll find a lot of those things in this area, so it's very interesting to walk around and see their huts and the tools they used. As you can see here, there are various kinds of huts, and they come from different time periods, but no matter what, most of them are really basic, and they just give you a little bit of warmth. They have this kind of a simple stove inside, and in some of them you can maybe in the more modern ones, you can prepare your food there, but there's just shelter for the rain and for the wild animals as well. You have to remember we are in the middle of the wilderness here. You have bears and wolves and the most annoying kind of mosquitoes, and there are clouds of them even today in most parts of these areas. So this is a little bit different. This is more of a replica of the Dawson City kind of American or Canadian gold town during the gold rush time. So in Lapland they didn't really look like this. As you can see, it has this specific look of the wild western kind of style, but nevertheless it kind of fits well into this kind of environment. So there are kind of similarities and connecting ways people were building. Here you can see Finland is a high trust society. They can leave whoever sells this, can leave even cold, unattended on this Lappish cold village, and nobody's gonna steal it. The old days, the thieves had a certain fate in these cold panning villages, and the old law of the wilderness still rules here.